Welcome to Starts and Ends. I'm your host, Jake. On if it wants to work. There you go. Welcome to Superstar, where we take 6 players from the NFL draft, we throw them in and say, what's their level of success could be? And could they be the best of the best? Could they turn to stars? Could they be superstars even? We've done quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are the easier ones. We did Shedeur Sanders. We did Cam Ward. Now let's do a pass rusher. Abdul is going to be a top 5 draft choice. So let's see just how likely is it that Abdul will be the next great pass rusher. So why don't you come and join me and let's see if we can put him to the test. Does he pass the smell test? Abdul Carter, big guy, 6'3", 259. Statistically, you look at his statistics and you say, okay, he had 12 sacks this year. He had 24 tackles for a loss this year. So he had 12 sacks. He had 24 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. 68 total tackles. Those numbers jumped from his first year and his second year as part of the Penn State Nittany Lions. And his archetype, this is what I'm saying. Of course, I'm going to compare him to Micah Parsons because that's exactly what he does. He does everything that Micah does. He can be a pass rusher. He can be an outside linebacker. His versatility, the way he comes off the edge, he has great quickness, great strength. He does have great balance. It's all the things that we say there's something there about this kid. And we said the same thing about Micah Parsons when he came out. There's something there. His balance, his speed, the way he can get off the blocks, the way he can dip around guys, that's something he does very well. Abdul does the exact same thing. He's just bigger. He's about 20 pounds heavier than Micah is. That's all he is. He's about 20-ish pounds heavier than Micah is. So he's doing this as a bigger athlete. But I really want to talk about how he showcases his versatility. You actually go into what he was doing in game. Hang on, if my phone wants to work. There we go. His last game, they lost to 7th-ranked Notre Dame. He had 5 total tackles, 2 solos, 3 solos, 2 assists, my bad, and 2 sacks. And a sack, my bad. A sack. His best game was against Maryland, where he had 6 total tackles, 3 solos, 3 assists, and 2 sacks. That's what this guy does. He gets to the quarterback, constant pressure on the quarterback and on the offensive line. The way he gets around guys, like we said before, it's hard to block him. So from that perspective, it's not possible to block him. The thing about Abdul that's so fascinating too is he's a guy that the way he plays, when you play pass rusher in the NFL, it's not an easy position. It's really not. You got guys who are trained that if you're going to jump up as a defender, you got offensive linemen are trained to punch you in your chest. That's what they're trained to do. When you got a guy like this who can jump higher, his speed is unbelievable. He gets around guys. He can just push you put you in a position where you don't succeed very well as an offensive lineman. That's something it's hard to find. Now, again, I could go into saying, well, what's his ability? How does he establish? But really, I'm just going to say, what's the best position? What's the best team he could go to and dominate? And I think that answer is New England. People has a uncanny ability with these guys. When you get a pass rusher who can just use his speed, use his power, dip around guys, run the loop, be relentless, do all those things, that's the guy Mike Vrabel wants. That's the guy that Mike Vrabel should get if he's there. That's a if you're saying, man, Travis Hunter went before, now Abdul Carter, he run to him as fast. Camera comes back. There we go. Run to the podium as fast as you can with this pen, this card. Here you go. That's what, and that's the kind of player Abdul Carter is. He's big, he's fast, he runs the loop, he does everything, he's relentless. It's great things for him. The only negative to Abdul Carter, not really a negative, this, all the credit we can give Abdul Carter, everyone on the ESPN was like, he is a little selfish. He's a little selfish. But then you talk to the people at Penn State and they say, maybe he is, but that's what you have to be as a good pass rusher. You have to be a little bit selfish. But he also, when we needed him to step up and become a leader, he became a leader. Those guys didn't want to let him down. He does a position that it's so, you have to almost be selfish. You have to get to the quarterback. That's the point. But to be a leader from that perspective too is what you need. And that's really the pivotal moment, is really there is no exact crucial play. There's 24 of them. There's 24 times he affected the play by a negative play. That's 24 times. Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And welcome to Superstar, where we take 6 players from the NFL draft, we throw them in, and we say, could this player be the next great player, the next star, the next superstar even? We did Shedeur Sanders, we did Cam Ward. The quarterbacks are easiest, let's be honest. Now let's do Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter, his archetype to me is Micah Parsons. They are exactly the same, basically. Abdul Carter is a little heavier. He's 259. I believe Micah came in at 240. So he's about 20 pounds heavier. But that's what they do. And the thing is, if you look at Abdul Carter, how do we test him? Well, why don't you join me and find out? So the best statistic I can give you Abdul Carter is when he gets behind the line of scrimmage, it's nearly impossible to get away from him. His pressure rate is insane. He's made 24 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He had 68 total tackles this year, 12 sacks. He affected the quarterback at any chance that he could. Those are things you need from a player. And he's only going to get better. The reason I said he's basically Micah Parsons, everything that Micah does, Abdul Carter does. Abdul Carter just does it as more of a heavier athlete. He's fast, versatile, and he has quick bursts, which is very hard to find from a pass rushing perspective at that size. The best way I can describe it is you can see what he does to people. His first step is as fast as his third step, and then he can just get around you. He'll take 3 steps to the inside and There we go. He moves into his second, third step, and the offensive lineman hasn't even planted. They haven't sat down yet, and that's how quick. Those are things that you need to get better at as an offensive lineman. But if this defensive lineman, Abdul Qadir, has already figured that out, there's no limit to where he can go. He can play. He's, like I said, his versatility is unmatched. He's played outside linebacker. He's played pass rusher. He's obviously a way better pass rusher. He's shown that he can do this. Come on. There we go. My camera keeps dying out. So he's shown that he can do multiple things. It does at a very. Is he competitive? Absolutely. But everyone at that position has to be that competitive. Because as a defensive end, you are taught if you're going to jump up in the air, that offensive lineman is going to try to punch you in your chest. So it is hard to be competitive right away. The only guys I've seen that have been that good right away as a pass rusher, there's not very many of them. And it usually takes to year two. Abdul Qadir, chance, it's going to be an instant impact. Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And welcome to Superstar, where we take 6 players from the NFL draft. We basically say, could they be the next best thing at their position? We've done the 2 quarterbacks. We did Cam Ward. We did Shedeur Sanders. Now let's do a pass rusher. Let's do Abdul Qadir right now. So why don't you come and join me and say, does Abdul Qadir pass the smell test as an NFL player? Obviously, my archetype for him is another Penn State man in Micah Parsons. They are so similar. Both versatile, both extremely athletic, have a quick burst, when the offensive linemen try to get out of their stance, they're already 3 steps up. They already hit their 3rd step. It's insane what they can do. But the thing for Abdul Qadir is he is so gifted at stopping guys behind the line of scrimmage. And this is what he does on an every time basis. He led the NCAA with 24 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. That's what this kid does. He does it very well. He's smart. He's strong. He hits his 3rd step before any offensive lineman even picks their head up. Like, this is how quick this guy is. And he's picking it up faster. He had 12 sacks this past year. 12 sacks, 68 total tackles. That numbers, his first 2 years, he had 6.5 sacks, 4.5 sacks, respectfully. But he never had anything like this. He was explosive. He was a menace. He was everywhere on the field. Sometimes he plays edge rusher. Sometimes outside offensive, sometimes outside linebacker. Sometimes he does various things. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yes, because that's exactly how he plays. It's exactly what Micah does. It's exactly what Abdul Qadir is going to do. Now, it's hard to play pass rush in the NFL, which is the reason why I think it's important that he gets the right spot. He goes to the right place to learn and adapt and play well. And I think that's Mike Vrabel in New England. I think he needs to be taught by Mike Vrabel for the ability that he'll have from Harold Landry too for getting around those tackles. And you want to build a pass rush, that's how you do it. Because, like I said, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If the Patriots go and they say, man, Travis Hunter went before us, there's a Bill Carter on the board, but maybe we should trade back. No. Run to the podium with that card in hand as fast as you can and say, here, because we need some help, and he will help. That's what he does. That's what you got to do. Now, again, like I said, there is no straight development in terms of you put him in the right position. But playing pass rush is very hard to do. You are taught from a young age. If you jump, that offensive lineman is taught to punch you in the chest so you don't jump again. That's what he's taught. And that's what you have to understand as a pass rusher. But if you have Bill Carter, you might be able, with your speed, power, and balance, just jet around them. Sounds like another Penn State guy in Micah Parsons, where his third step before it's in, and the offensive lineman's like, wait, what? How am I supposed to stop that? His first step and his third step are the same pace, and they're so extremely fast that I don't know how to keep up with him. Putting him with Vrabel would give him a great balance, a great perspective of how to play this position. Putting him with Harold Landry would do the same thing. Where you could even put him in with Brian Burns and with the Giants, but I think the best place would be New England. That's just my personal opinion. Now, the thing with Abdul Carter is he has an injury right now. He had a stress fracture in his foot, didn't require surgery, but he didn't really test anything. He's also, this was written by ESPN now, it was written by ESPN and said he's selfish. Now, I don't know if a guy's productive, who cares exactly how he operates? But as a pass rusher, you do have to be selfish. You do have to say, I'm going to get to the quarterback. I will do this. I will do my job, and I will get to the quarterback, and I will make sure he hits the ground. That's my job. That's what Abdul Carter does. But it's just an explanation. This is what this kid does. He does it extremely well. Like I said, 24 tackles for a loss. That's what this kid does. He gets after the quarterback. I want to give you his last game was against Notre Dame. He had 5 tackles, 3 solos, 2 assisted, 1 sack. His best game he had, let me see if I can find it real quick, was Illinois. 7 tackles, 7 total tackles, 4 solos, 3 assisted, and 2 sacks. He gets after the quarterback, but he creates havoc, which is, I call it controlled chaos. Can you control the chaos? Where it's, this guy is extremely explosive. He gets to the quarterback. He makes the plays. He does all the things he needs to do. But he also doesn't create a distraction off the field. He does everything. He's controlled, but he's chaotic. That's the whole point. Abdul Carter, you might have to put in that conversation. Can he be controlled chaos? Where you throw him out there and you say, go get the quarterback, and he finds a way to get to the quarterback and makes plays. Simple. It's pretty much all it is. Now, I could say, okay, well, what about Abdul Carter's potential? His potential is out of this world. That's how good he can be. He's just got to find a way that in any situation can he have a level of impact that it's one player that creates the biggest impact that he makes every other player better. And that's normally a conversation we have with quarterbacks. But yet this guy, if you put him out on the field, he will have extraordinary amounts of impact. That's what Abdul Qadir, it's lightning in a bottle. If you can find a way to get him on your team and you can have that level of impact, that immediately makes your team 100% better than it already was. From day one. Now, of course, there is factors that could play for his success. Like I said, going to New England, where he learned from Vrabel, would be great for him. Going to the Browns would also be great for him because he could learn from Myles Garrett, and that would be an unbelievable pairing. But he could also go to the Giants, and I'm not saying Brian Burns isn't a good player, but I don't think he'd get the necessary amount of time. There's a hole on the other side of Myles Garrett, on the left hand side or right hand side of Myles Garrett, and the same thing goes for New England. Same thing. You can fill the need that you need to fill. That you absolutely gotta find a way to make it better by bringing this guy in who's relentless, chases the quarterback, does all these things very well. Again, controlled chaos. Be relentless, attack the quarterback. We'll fix the bad things as we have to go along. That's all you do. It's not that difficult to understand. You want to be Abdul Qadir, you find a way to get to the quarterback. Just find a way to get to the quarterback. Again, there is no crucial play. There's 24 of them. That's the point. He has 24 tackles for a loss for a reason. Get after the guy. That's all you're trying to do. And to be honest, his pass rush is great. His run defense might need a little work. But that is all. Which, that's all you can say about a young guy. It's pretty good. I encourage you. Do you guys think that was a fair assessment of Abdul Qadir? And what do you guys think about Abdul Qadir? Do you think he's going to be in Cleveland, the Giants, or even in New England? Why don't you guys write that down in the comment section down below? I encourage you, like, share, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out immensely. It also lets me know that you guys enjoy this. And the next one we'll do will probably be Ashton Genty. But let me know in the comments if you are excited for that one. I appreciate y'all for joining. And as of now, I'm in a NFL world. We'll see you next time.